both of these compositions do, though, really want to go forward. Galio Jarvan classic combo, and Corki, he's not about standing a million miles away and doing 50% of your HP with one rocket. He wants to be Valking in and one-shotting people. And I think if Los Ratones draft an engaged support for themselves, that is just further emphasizing the identity of this character.
Yeah, and now we will see whether a Corki is a flex or not. Even now, like, you could put it in either lane. And both these teams, what I'm loving from this draft so far is both of the teams, not just one or the other. There's no like rock paper scissors going on here. No, we are butting heads, jumping in, engaging. Both, and what it's going to come down to is just purely which team has the advantage, who can outhands who can get the good flanks and the good engages. The game plan is very clear from both teams here. And yeah,
that's AP Jax
with Swain as well. So AP Jax top
100%. That's Baus.
Okay.
That's AP Jax. He doesn't play AD Jax. He doesn't.
Swain Daddy. And as we head to the riff, I will leave you with that quote from Alicia here, who maybe letting her, personal taste sway her opinions here in the draft.
Oh my god, why are you exposing me like that?
I mean, you said it!
It wasn't here for the broadcast. Oh my brother, I thought we were friends.
No, I'm throwing you out of the bus there. You just...
Yeah, my
look,
career is ruined.
I'm not apologizing. I mean, like,
I see.
yeah,
that.
moving on. Because I think that statement stands by itself quite happily.
No further comments, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna see a little bit of the old Dark Seal start there from Baus, who has gone for the phase rush. It will likely be that AP Jax, as we were saying. Dark Seal start for the Galio as well, so clearly looking for some of those kind of more snowbally options. I think Middlecott kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit, saying, look, the damage from this Los Ratones roster, this draft rather, is a little low if they don't get ahead. They've got a fair amount of burst, but the consistent damage isn't necessarily what it would be from another composition. That Swain might have a serious amount of value there if they don't get ahead of that curve and get that kind of damage in ahead of the time.
And that's where the bot lane comes into play, because I feel like Crowny having Corki as the first pick for him is so massive here, especially if you've been following Los Ratones so far and you saw what they did last week on the first day of NLC, what Crowny did, granting himself the first blood of the split of NLC and granting himself so many kills and being the deadliest member of Los Ratones on this Corki. Now he's getting it, he's pairing it up with the Recon for REKKLES, so that is a very strong combo on the bot lane. If I'm expecting the first blood to come out of anywhere on this map, I would love it to be on the bot lane for Los Ratones, because that is really where they can build up from.
I think you've kind of got the right idea there. And again, like, this is not an unusual draft from Los Ratones. They love their dive comps. They love their Galio comps. This kind of thing really fits the playstyle. REKKLES on those engaged supports finds a lot of value. The BULLDOG's just looking to see whether they could find an angle there on Nemesis, but he's quick enough to back on it. Had to burn the teleport a little earlier there, and Cayman will now be following in his footsteps. She cancels that recall, wants to try and claim this wave as he can before going back to base.
But that now opens the possibility for some action on the bot lane. The thing though is that Los Ratones know where Ludus is. They should be expecting him to potentially appear on the bot lane. They have their own action, a lot of it happening there at the same time, but they also have Velja around to make sure that nothing bad happens to Los Ratones on the bot lane.
Gonna try and look at a potential dive angle here. They've got a lot of members hiding around in the blue side jungle. HP bars are quite high, and they say, that's not what we're here for. Gonna get the wards down, gonna get onto this Gromp instead, and try and make sure the Maokai has to leave that camp alone. Instead, we'll turn back towards the top side, pick up that top side Skullcrab, but it means that you can't look to play around the bot side, where Xfeng and Kasing have often been the major win condition for the side of Bulldogs when they found power points of their own. And just make sure that the Maokai can't get involved down there as Baus runs out of mana. We're looking to reset nice and early. Again, it is AP Jax, does tend to run through the mana a little faster than other variants sometimes.
I mean, all of the variants in the early levels run through their mana pretty fast, but this one definitely is the top spot.
Bit of an engage onto Nemesis, who flashes away before the Never Move can land in. We'll have to leave the Edgar Allan Poe references for another time as Vision of Empire is not quite there. We have to hold our breath a second as Nemesis is fancy enough with the footwork to avoid dying for first blood there.
he went away on 30 HP. If that W from Swain hit, he most likely would have been dead on the spot.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Velia, what are you?
He's going in for a potential 1 versus 2 here. Just throws down the wards and sees that's all gone. Baus is proxy farming because, of course, he is Baus. Is following Bowson's law. Namely, to be as obnoxious and rat-like as possible, which is, you know, appropriate considering the team he's on.
Absolutely. Also, considering that Velge is around him, it is more than appropriate here because Baus knows that nothing except for this turret shot is going to threaten him whatsoever in his top lane, so he can do whatever he wants, and his team is supporting him. It is lovely to watch how Velge is walking around the map in this game because he is at the right places at the right time. He was shadowing the bot lane a little bit earlier, now he's shadowing the top lane to make sure that Baus, nothing happens to Bob and he gets a safe reset. What is going to be his next step? Potentially the void grabs because we have only 40 seconds before this spawn.
And I think it's also then worth pointing out that actually using the pressure in the bot lane, using the pressure in the top side to get in and get value out of the jungle is really good to see, especially because Velia is, in many ways, the least experienced member of the Lost Returners roster. Nemesis, Crownie, Rekkles are superstars in their own right. Rekkles in particular has played so many games, you know, Middlecott joked about it, but he was on that T1 roster as a substitute, right? He's played as a sub down there in their academy or the Challengers roster. He's been an AD carrier across Europe for years and years and years. Crownie, Nemesis, similarly have got massive amounts of experience. Even Baus has not had to change all that much from the way he streams and the way he plays on stream compared to the pro, because he's still going to play like Baus. He's committing to that playstyle. As Velia, who's having to take that slightly more inexperienced role, that slightly more or less pro-ready position, I guess, and find value, find success at a kind of competitive style of play. And thus far, this game is kind of using the value he's getting from his lanes really well so far. But we are only 6 minutes in, and that could all change yet. But so far, so good for the less experienced member of the Lost Returners squad.
So far, so good for the Bulldogs, because do you see what's happening on the minimap right now? Well, do you see what's happening in the speed? Bulldogs are the one taking in the grabs, despite the pride that Lost Returners were having on the top side of the map. And that's all because of one cheeky little, not even that cheeky, but a ward that was standing at the mid lane, at like the river from the top side of the mid lane. Lost Returners were trying to see for a potential play on the mid lane, but Bulldogs were able to rotate in so many people to the mid lane. They got the grabbies, and now they are not losing Kevin on the bot lane, which looked very risky, but no, he's fine. He's Swain, he's fine. He has an ultimate, like, what can you do to him under the turret?
That much there. Finds an ever move, but Rekkles didn't quite take tower aggro there, so he's fine enough. And Baus managed to get the reset off as well. Singh was around looking to see where they could interrupt the Jax's back, who is continuing to play very obnoxiously, very deep. I'm slightly surprised that we don't see more Singed play from Baus with this kind of proxy farming, as Cayman might still be in danger here. Rekkles will throw down the Gleaming Quill, and that will be Cayman deciding to demonically ascend, gets the Vision of Empire down, but there's 3 members down here! And Crownie picks up first blood. The Swain, this time around, does not have the ability to survive.
Crownie picking up the first blood is never a good sign for the other team, and it's not a good sign for Bulldogs right now either, because, well, Crownie, if you allow him on snowball, especially on a champion like Corki, that is going to be so much damage. Exactly what the Lost Returners need, consistent damage. They also need Baus to stay alive right now, though.
Do a little bit. Baus gonna be in that 1v2, and we all know that how rats work. As if it's Baus that's picking up all the deaths, they're doing just fine. The public execution is a slightly public fumble instead there. Unfortunate, Miatek gets the read wrong. Perhaps a little harsh with the phrasing, but hey, it made more sense with the name of the ultimate. Baus just keeps farming. He's not backing away, of course he's not. You can recall in the same spot. Might be going to pick this one up. Exafang and Kasiga there. There's no way out this time, Baus. Nice attempt. He gets a fair amount of damage down, but I think it will be the Varus who picks that one up.
That's still, though, the bot lane of Bulldogs slowed down, stuck on their base to make sure that they kill the enemy top laner. In the meantime, Lost Returners have free time on the bot lane to do whatever they want, and they want more money for Crownie, obviously. They also want the Drake, which Relja is taking care of right now. Bulldogs are going to be late for this party, so they should not even be thinking about taking the first Drake, and maybe focus on something else, like not giving away the first turret, for example.
Crownie's picked up 3 plates down there, and despite it being a relatively quiet early game, it's still over 1,000 gold ahead for Lost Returners here. They've picked up that early dragon. They've gotten the feat of strength for the first blood. There we go. Pick that one out. I can read symbols on the top of my screen. Good start there, Sam. And just off laning phase and just plates, they are kind of slowly getting a fairly notable lead here. Of course, it's not game-breaking yet, but if this keeps continuing, if they do continue to pick up some of those feats of strength and those plates, this gold lead is going to get very sizable very quickly, I fear.
And that is scary for any of the teams, to be fair, because if you look at both drafts, both of them absolutely hate playing from behind. Swain feels miserable if he's behind on items. Ambessa doesn't want to be behind. Jax, Corki, wherever you look, it's the same for both of the teams. So for Los RATONES, that is already such a great start that they are the ones ahead. Not a huge lead by any means, but they are consistently getting there. And their early games can be a little bit slower, but at the same time, again, it is just that they are constantly in this lead. They are leading in terms of feat of strength. They are leading in terms of the gold. They are having more control over the map in general. So far, it's looking good for them.
So far, so good. Of course, it's a lot of game to play as Baus goes on forwards, and with the phase rush and the AP-empowered counter-strike, that wave just disappears. Came in, lands a good never move, forces Crownie to cleanse away. Doesn't get to use the Valkyrie. He's actually down on mana. I'm not sure he had enough mana to back away. Valkyrie's mana costs early on. That's pretty huge, and I say that he Valks over a wall, so I was just wrong. There you go. Again, happened again. Sorry about that. I was trying to be super clever. Like, look at the mana cost tonight there. He just gets the Falco over the wall instead. Still, summoned it down, came in, continuing to land some good combos there on Swain, even if he is down a little bit of that CS. And we saw in the first game of the way the Bulldogs were more than able to find some good picks. A little bit like this. Chains of Corruption, just why Velia managed to buffer away for now. Still has the flash to work with. Teleports begin to fly. Velia down to half HP. The Hail of Arrows secures the kill for X-Fen 2 for him now on the board. Nemesis will Justice punch away, but there's a public execution. Noxus versus Demacia on your screens, but the statue will flash away. It's looking like a Doctor Who episode, because blink and you'll miss him.
But what you will not miss, though, is the fact that these are the second Gravies of the game that are going to Bulldog's hands. Oh my god, Crownie, what are you doing there?
He's Valk away. I don't think he got that far. They've got too deep. Hang on. In comes the Galio ultimate, and the hero's entrance and buys some time. The never move just shy. Will throw out the taunt, but will not find that much. Rekkless doesn't find the best engage ever. The demonic conception is there. Crownie down at 10% HP and no mana. Can't do that much more, but stays alive critically. And Bulldogs thought they'd found some more, but Los RATONES scramble and keep all their members alive.
Still such low HP buff on everybody that no continuation is possible. Everybody just wants to reset, go back to the base, maybe grab some more components. Velch in the meantime is doing the grabbies, but Baus might need...
He's fine.
You know what? Yeah, he's fine. He doesn't need any help whatsoever. I forget that it's Baus sometimes, sorry.
And in fairness to Baus, again, he has a reputation from solo. We all know what it is for many, many years now, and the way he plays the game, and is quite happy to give up the good deaths in order to find individual advantage and draw so much pressure that he still becomes a kind of problem regardless. But I think at least at NLC, or in NLC is a better way of putting the syntax together for that sentence, he's actually not given away as many deaths as you might expect. And again, yes, the Poppy game happened, but it's actually been pretty good at like not being completely over-aggressive. Is actually playing his style with a fair amount of consistency, and of course that shouldn't be a total surprise, but it's not the solo queue special you sometimes see from Baus, and it is good to see that he is managing to convert his very distinctive playstyle to a pro level, to a competitive level, and doing it well, at least so far. But we are only 3 games deep. Hell, 2.5. That third game's not complete yet.
2 and a third, more likely. We're just in the beginning. Everything might still go completely downhill for Los RATONES, even though they are still in the lead in terms of the goal, still in the lead in terms of what's happening on the map. Only need one more neutral objective, by the way, to complete the feats of strength. And with the dragon spawning in just 40 seconds from now, it looks like the next objective on the menu for Los RATONES, already starting to bring in the forces towards the both side of the map. Baus has no TP, but knowing Baus and knowing how the Reds play, most likely he's going to stay exactly where he is right now.
One more neutral objective will get Los RATONES that second feat of strength, which would be pretty valuable. Cayman lands a never move, but it's on to Rekklles, who has enough of a shield to not care too much right there, as well, he might end up face-checking a sapling and the little Schmiegum. I forget the name of it. I've forgotten the name of those things. There is a name. I apologise out there to Cabbage Family and other small UK teams who named those many years ago. All the while.
You lost me there, brother. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, but that is a very deep UK League of Legends reference. And to those who get it, I applaud you. To everyone else, ignore that 10 seconds of me mumbling. It's easier that way.
You know what? It's just it's the usual way of dealing with initialize. By the way, in case you didn't know. Oh, Cayman, don't do that to me again.
Demonic essentially comes through the tower, falls. That'll be another feat of strength. Cayman flashes away, try to heal up. It's just not enough as Crowny picks that one up, his first of the game. But BDG, Bulldogs are here to fight back. They land the Maokai route, but the turnaround's pretty good. Exafeng just gets caught out, deleted! And of course, there's the Galio from the heavens to turn it all around. Lulis is clueless, nowhere to run. He goes on down, another such name pumps. Kasing now being run away. Miatic is here, but there's still a massive members disadvantage. Nemesis lands the talk, gets Kasing, and now it's Ambessa alone against the world. And Los Ratones are bringing a plague of destruction down on Bulldog's heads. There is just not enough in the tank. They should have named terriers. They're the wrong kind of rat-catching dogs.
That Ambessa was not, I'm afraid, raised by the wolves because she was too late for the party and there is no way out of that anymore. But the thing is, Cayman dies here and that is unavoidable because the turret goes down extremely quickly, and even if you're in Demonic Ascension, there is nothing you can do. But I want you to be looking at Rekklles because the way he's going to be dancing with his moves, like, never give this man a Rakan if you want to even have a chance at winning against Los Ratones, because the way he chooses to go for Exafeng right here with his extended ultimate to make sure that he hits onto the enemy AD carry, and this way Crowny doesn't die, and this way the enemy AD carry goes down, and the fight is pretty much automatically won for the Rats.
There's just too many entrances happening there for Exafeng to deal with, a grand one and a heroic one. A little bit more than Exafeng was able to manage with the Nemesis. Just gets to keep going on forwards, and Kasing forced down. Miatic has nowhere really to go. The public execution is unfortunately of Ambessa herself. Everybody in the end falls apart at different times there. Bulldogs go in one by one. And taken hook, line, and sinker, and their chance of this game feels like they're sinking rather rapidly. What are they, 5k behind at this point in the game?
Yeah.
They're down 4 grubs, 2 dragons. There's not many metrics here that Los Ratones are not favoured in right now. Baus has got himself a Nash's Tooth already. Building towards that second item nice and fast. Only the one death so far. This Jax, AP or not, going to be really annoying. The upfront burst from that particular variant is a lot more than people expect.
That's true. And also don't forget about the fact that he is obnoxious on the side lanes as well, which means Bulldogs right now have to sacrifice Mintic all the time to make sure that this Ambessa is just trying to hold onto these turrets, that Baus doesn't cut through them very quickly, which, to be fair, Baus will still do. He's ahead, he's feeling rather strong right now.
He's fine, yeah.
Exactly, he's more than fine compared to Mintic right now.
Well, just counter-strikes the wave and runs away. The public execution goes wide because he just sidestepped it. Here comes the Nature's Grasp, though, to buy Baus a little bit of time. Nowhere really for him to go. Has a phase rush, but nowhere to run. And that'll be a second death for the Jax, who, for once, oversteps, can't sidestep everything. Baus dies for the second time this game.
You can sidestep everything, but you can make sure that every death of yours counts, because Los Ratones, in the meantime, thanks to this window in the window view, got the Herald to themselves, and now they can come through the top lane.
They try and jump in. The chains of corruption don't really land. Cayman tries to buy some time. Velia is very deep, but I think he's just dead to rights here. Yeah, that one was a little bit far, Rats. I would XTD somewhere else. Nemesis comes on in, but the hero's entrance is going to kick like the villain's dinner table, and he gives himself over to Bulldogs, who now even up the kills. I think that one might have been a touch far. I don't know about you, Solari.
Speaking of overextension, both of us actually did overextend. Both Los Ratones went a little bit too deep and too far into Bulldog's territory. Us also, we went a little bit too far with praising them, unfortunately, but...
Oh, well,
okay, good.
Kasing about to fall as well. There comes the Visions of Ember, drive by some space, but Baus down to counter-strike, and 20% of the HP bar just disappears. A double kill for Baus, who evens up his kills and deaths and feels a lot happier about the game, and Los Ratones strike back after a slight fumble moments ago. We'll have a look at this replay again, as we see the topside dive that was just that bit deep.
Much too deep, with the turret still on full health, and remember that the turrets are now dealing much more damage than before, and with the fact that Velge is jumping in with the ultimate when there is already no follow-up possible because Crowny is fighting for his dear life, and after that the hero's entrance also happens, unfortunately a little bit too late, but look at the window in the window view, there is no time to waste for the Rats.
Mid lane turret stands despite the use of the Herald, and Sundering Smash comes on through from Mythic as the part 2 of that Q. Sometimes can look a little bit like the ultimate on this skin. I'm not gonna lie
Yes,
to you.
it does.
Thank you for saying about that. Okay, you get the turret. You nearly get everything. Okay, you know what? Good death. Gets the turret. It's more gold than you dying as came in. And on the other side goes down as well. And Velia and Nemesis return to the scene of the incident at the tier 2 earlier and be able to claim that turret for themselves. RATONES claim 2 tier 2s in a matter of minutes. Actually, are they going to keep going? They might look for a little bit more. Here is only teleports available. Cayman will have his 20-odd seconds. That's a public execution. That's still going to be a 1 versus 2. Mythic manages to Drakehound step away, but the turnaround with the Justice Punch and a flag and drag means that I think that Ambessa may have gone a little deep, but you know what? I take it back. There's just more dashes than Los RATONES have. You can't catch the Ambessa. What am I saying is... Gee, Lunas and Kasing here. How much further do they want to go? Atakan has spawned, and the HP bars for Los RATONES are a little low. This might actually give Bulldogs an opportunity here if they're feeling really bold. They'll pick up the blood petals, and the resets will come on through, but they don't feel calm enough or confident enough to start this one up quite yet.
Their Ambessa is still low health, you gotta remember. It was still 2-4-1 in terms of the low health and who had to reset in the end, but still Bulldogs don't feel comfortable enough without one. Plus, their situation on the top lane is... it's not that good. They still have all of their turrets down, all the turrets for Los RATONES are still standing, so Los RATONES seem to have a better position here if they want to force a fight there. They want to force a fight here on the river, apparently.
Threw down the flag, but did not get dragged down into the depths. Never move lands onto Nemesis. Kasing has gone on in with the crash down and a bit more Ferromancy to his name. Value is really low, gets the Cataclysm and gets out. Came in desperately low, trying to heal on up. Doesn't quite ball himself. The health bars are so low, but the few have fallen so far. And Ambessa gets the jacks. And Bulldogs come out on sort of top, I think. It's 2 for 2 in the end, but it is a close run thing.
It's still close, and Mythic is still half HP and can do so much with his half HP on that Ambessa. Like, force some more recalls and let the team go towards the Drake. It's gonna be the first Drake for Bulldog, but they also having objective bounties running on the map, so it's gonna be a little bit of additional gold for the team as well. A pretty good ultimate there coming in, but again, coming a little bit too late, it feels like, from Galio. I'm just so sad to look at Kaimin because Swain, who is behind, is not having a good time whatsoever. Your whole idea of your champion is that you're supposed to survive through the fights and absorbing some damage and heal from it. If Swain is 1-4-5 and having only an item and a half compared to 3 items on Nemesis, I'm afraid this Swain is not fathering today.
Struggling a little bit here, I grant you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you... little bit of a throwback to the earlier statements there. I appreciate it. But, jokes aside, Bulldogs, we've seen some good fights from them today. We've seen them actually throw some good punches in game 1. They managed to fight back against Los RATONES a number of times despite the goal discrepancy across this game, but it has been more of the macro that has been problematic. They are still down a lot of gold in both of these games as the mid-game rolls around and they start falling further and further away. Those slight increments begin to build into bigger and bigger ones as the games go on, and yes, the Swain is quite a ways behind, but on the other hand, at least XFM's in a decent spot, and maybe Bulldogs can put it back, but I need to see them start picking up some turrets. It's 5-0 in that marker right now. They've got a dragon to their name, they've got a couple grubs, but that's about it. Baus might be attacked here. That Blast Cone did not serve to put Mythic any further, and Baus is very swift with the phase rush and the Swifty boots, so it's not going to be a threat right now.
No, and he's more than fine to see some enemy members looking at him without any respect on the both side of the map, because we're still looking at Atakan sitting on the top part of the map. We're still talking about the possibility to take it, but for now, mid lane.
Crash down into the Magnet Storm, and Crownie in a dangerous spot, but he's got enough of a shield to stay alive. Came in, gets a big demonic ascension though. Kasing is low but not down. Lula's low but not down. Ambessa gets Rekkkles and shot down, and into the back lane he gets more. Oh my god! Value with the triple goal. Cataclysm by name, Cataclysm by nature. All the while, though, they still lose more members. Velia manages to salvage it a little bit, but it's still going to be a 3 for 3. Can he find his way out? We'll need to play rope around the ring around the rosy a little bit, but Cayman has a lot more HP to work with. The vision to the Empire will stop the spot. Remember, Atakan is up. Velia, how much further can you run? Are there teleports available? One from Nemesis, maybe, if he can fall away and get on in here. a bit more damage, and Palpatine he may be, but will not be able to really show them the true power of the dark side of the Force. Have a look at this replay, because once again, it was scrappy.
I don't know how Crownie managed to keep to his cleanse for so long up until the very last moment, and the fight would have looked so much different if it wasn't for the Niantic factor here. Because the moment this Ambessa sees the opening onto the backlane that is already very low, she goes in, Rekkkles is down, Crownie is down, and no matter what was happening to the backlane of Bulldogs before that, Niantic is still full health somehow, almost full health, with a ginormous shield to his name, with a triple kill to his name, and my boy Niantic coming all the way from Ultraliga, where he had the strong performance individually, but unfortunately his team really struggled to find any good placement in League whatsoever. But Niantic was always the shining light over the team, and now I'm just so happy finally seeing him on the champion that has so much power and authority and unleashing it to the fullest. 6-1-1 with 2 items to his name. Niantic is a very strong factor in this game.
And unless you end up with a really good set of ults to defend Crownie, it's not going to be that easy to Valkyrie away from an Ambessa who can just continue to gap close after gap close. If you're hit by that public execution, you are no longer safe. They'll jump onto Exafing here as the chains of corruption go very wide indeed. And that's a quick kill onto the enemy AD carrier. Los Ratones will take this opportunity to head towards the Baron that has just spawned and look to pick up the big purple worm for themselves. They are going to be on vision while doing it, though. Well, they're just going to go straight towards Atakan to get used to what people are going for. With that one also being aside there, they'll start up with a slightly easier neutral objective to secure.
The Bulldogs, however, are closing in. There is no ultimate on Lulus.
boy.
Just something important to remember, but Kaiman is here. Has the ulti.
I think a Scon is
Same.
going to go down, and that'll be the withdrawals available. On a revive, I heard the Endless Desk calling us out on that one earlier. As Baus into the backside makes sure that Cayman is suffering. Will get that kill, but it's only 100 gold. Lulus goes down. Crowdy playing with a vengeance. Niantic in the backline facing in a 1v2. And reminder, with those withdrawals, you just don't get that much value for fighting against them. And now Baron's available right next door. Atakan proves its might once more. So much value for the side of Los Ratones.
From the moment that Atakan went down into the hands of Los Ratones, it was a lost cause for Bulldog. Because even if you win a fight right here, right now, you're getting pretty much nothing. As you said, you're getting no gold. You're just giving the quick recess for Los Ratones to go quickly back to the base and buy more items and just simply walk back into the Summoner's Rift like nothing happened before that. If you lose this fight, however, as Bulldogs, you're losing so much more. They just lost the Baron to everybody on the side of Los Ratones. They just lost potentially more turrets. They just lost the Dragon as well, which they still have an objective bounty on. But as you can see on the minimap and on the map right now, Los Ratones are claiming the soul point for themselves, and they will continue pushing because they still have 4 out of 5 withdrawals to their names, and now they have the Baron buff and the soul point. Like, what else is there to ask for the Reds right now?
Maybe some cleaner team fights, I suppose, if you're being really nitpicky.
Okay,
And that's probably
yeah.
fair. There's been a few even team fights that perhaps shouldn't have been, and Exafang and Miatic are still pretty scary. They'd like to time out these Atakan buffs if they can, though. Not the easiest thing to do, and with Baron on top of it all, it's going to be a very strong shove from Los Ratones. Make no mistake about it. Can Bulldogs hold on? They will need to be dog with a bone in this particular case. Dog within will have to become a dog without if they want to make this play. In goes Velia, but Miatic is trading out with Baus on the other side. I think Baus is winning this one.
What?
Oh my days, the damage is huge! Counter-strike and a flash not required. All the while though, Ingos came in and the rest of the squad from Los Ratones to try and pick up the kill. So don't quite manage it. Crowdy, Valkyrie's over the wall. You can hear them riding on in, and it is to Valhalla. They send Bulldogs. It is a valiant fight or two from then, but the macro wasn't enough. Atakan and Baron is too much to bear for the side of Bulldogs. They will fall down to 1 and 3. Los Ratones will secure themselves first in Group A. They do it in style, and they do it in the manner we all began to expect, even if 1 or 2 of those fights were perhaps not as clean as